All right, today we're jumping into a real classic in the world of self-development, Shakti Gawain's creative visualization. We're going to break down exactly how you can use the power of your own imagination to, well, create the life you want. So let's dive right in. Imagination is not merely a passive mental exercise. It is an active creative force shaping the reality we experience. I mean, wow. That right there is the core idea of this whole book. It's a pretty huge concept, right? The idea that what we picture in our minds can actually directly influence what happens in our lives. So, here's what we've got on deck today. First, we'll tackle the big transformative idea at the heart of the book. Then, we'll get into the power of our thoughts. After that, it's all about the 4 core principles, the techniques you can actually use, and, yeah, the obstacles that might pop up. And we'll wrap it all up by talking about how to really embrace your own creative power. So in creative visualization, Shakti Gawain lays out this really profound method. It's all about using your mental imagery, affirmations, and your belief systems to manifest your goals, to really transform yourself and build a life that feels fulfilling. This book came out way back in 1978, and it's basically been a cornerstone of self-development ever since. It does a great job of connecting psychological ideas with spiritual wisdom. Okay, so here's the absolute core of her teachings, the idea that we are always creating our reality. And this is happening whether we're conscious of it or not. The trick, she says, is to consciously direct our thoughts and emotions. When you do that through visualization, you start to align your own energy with the universe's creative flow. And that makes it so much easier for the things you want to actually become reality. So, you might be thinking, how does this actually work? Let's get into it. We're going to look at the power of our thoughts from both a scientific and a spiritual angle. So, what is creative visualization? It's basically the practice of using your imagination on purpose, deliberately, to shape your life experiences. And his whole technique is built on 2 really fundamental truths. First, thoughts are energy. Every single thought you have carries a kind of vibrational energy that, well, it interacts with everything around you. And the second truth is that our minds shape our reality. Think about it. Whatever you focus on over and over, especially when you feel it strongly, that's what starts to program your subconscious. And eventually, that's what changes your life on the outside. And you know what? The science behind this is absolutely fascinating. I mean, yeah, visualization has these deep spiritual roots, but modern psychology totally backs it up. Neuroscience has shown that our brains literally can't tell the difference between a real, lived experience and one that we just vividly imagine. So what does that mean? It means visualizing success can build the exact same neural pathways in your brain as actually achieving it. It's no wonder top athletes and performers use this stuff all the time to prime themselves for success. Okay, now let's get into the foundations of this whole practice, the 4 core principles. Let's break down exactly what they are. All right, principle number 1, the universe is a field of energy. So picture this, everything that exists, people, things, your feelings, your thoughts, it's all part of this giant interconnected web of energy. And your personal vibe, your vibration, is constantly influencing that web and being influenced by it. So by consciously channeling positive energy with visualization, you're basically tuning yourself into that universal flow of creation. Next up, principle 2, your imagination is the gateway to reality. This is so important. Visualization isn't just, wishful thinking. It's a really precise process. You're mentally crafting what you want before it shows up in the real world. I love the analogy she uses. It's just like an architect drawing up a blueprint before a building is ever constructed. You can use your mental images to design the outcomes in your own life. Principle number 3 is all about how affirmations rewire the subconscious. Words have so much power, right? Gawain really focuses on using affirmations. These are positive statements you say in the present tense to basically reprogram your old limiting beliefs. They're also great for backing up your visualization practice. So, for example, instead of just hoping for success, you'd affirm something like, I am attracting abundance and opportunities effortlessly. See the difference? And that brings us to the final principle, effortless alignment with universal flow. What this really means is that manifestation works best when your goals are genuinely yours, not just something society or your parents or anyone else expects from you. When you visualize something that truly, deeply resonates with who you are, you'll start to notice that opportunities just kind of show up. It all feels more natural, more like you're in the flow. Okay, so now that we've got the principles down, let's get practical. Let's talk about the actual techniques you can start using to bring visualization into your day-to-day life. The whole process really breaks down into 4 key steps. You start with relaxation and meditation, just to quiet your mind. Then you move into creating really vivid mental images, trying to engage all your senses. After that, you reinforce it all with affirmations. And finally, and this one is so crucial, is the art of letting go and just trusting the process. We're going to look at some examples of those affirmations now. So, these affirmations, remember, they're powerful statements you make in the present tense. For instance, something like, I am confident, powerful, and in complete control of my destiny.
Or how about this one? Opportunities flow into my life effortlessly, and I am open to receiving them.
Or a really simple but powerful one. I radiate love, abundance, and success. And here's the key. When you repeat affirmations like these, you literally start to rewire those old, subconscious thought patterns. You're actively replacing fear and a sense of scarcity with a mindset of pure empowerment. Now, that final step, it's probably the trickiest one for a lot of us. Letting go. You see, one of the biggest roadblocks to manifestation is being too attached to the outcome. Gawain really teaches the importance of detachment. So you visualize with all the trust and confidence you can muster, and then you let the universe handle the how. It's kind of like planting a seed. You do your part, and then you have to patiently trust that it will grow.
Okay, so where can you actually apply these techniques? And what are some of the common hurdles you might run into? Let's take a look.
Really, you can apply these techniques to so many different parts of your life. For health and healing, just picturing a strong, healthy body can actually help stimulate your immune system. When it comes to your career and finances, mental imagery can sharpen your focus and help you attract new opportunities. For relationships, you can use it to strengthen your connections with people. And of course, in sports, athletes use mental rehearsal all the time to build muscle memory and boost their confidence. But, even though visualization sounds pretty simple in theory, a lot of people do struggle with it. So the big question is, what gets in the way? What's hindering the manifestation? Well, there are 3 really common obstacles. First up is just plain old skepticism and doubt. If you're struggling with that, Gawain's advice is to start small. Manifest something little to prove to yourself that it works. The second obstacle is fear-based thinking. That old conditioning we all have. To fight that, you got to regularly practice your affirmations and gratitude to shift those thought patterns. And finally, there's impatience. We have to remember, as Gawain says, that this is a process. It takes consistency and a little bit of faith. And that brings us to our final section, embracing your creative power. Because really, this is about so much more than just a technique. It's a whole philosophy for how to live your life consciously. You see, beyond just achieving personal success, Gawain really emphasizes the spiritual side of visualization. She believes that when you're manifesting, you're actually aligning yourself with a universal intelligence, a force that's bigger than just you. And when you practice things like gratitude, meditation, and just being present, visualization helps you find a deeper harmony with the natural flow of life. Her teachings are this powerful reminder that our life really does unfold based on the images we hold inside our minds. And that leads us to a really powerful final thought from the book. As we step into the creative process, we unlock boundless potential, shaping a life that reflects our deepest desires. So, at the end of the day, Shakti Gawain's creative visualization leaves us with one really important, action-oriented question to think about. What reality will you create first?